Alex here with a high conflict child custody video. The topic is hide your emotions from the abuser. I am realizing that this is something I figured out after I sort of came to certain understandings when it came to my ex, and I really want to tell other people about this because I feel like this is actually something that will help people who are going through a child custody case, a high conflict child custody case, whether or not it's with a personality disordered abuser, especially though if it is with a personality disordered abuser. Please heed the advice in this video. So if you want to know the details as to the conclusions I came to regarding my ex, please watch my video on evaluating mental health. I go into great detail in that video as to the conclusions I made concerning my ex's mental health. And all of the other caveats that come with that, like diagnosing, not being an expert on mental health, not being a psychologist, all that. I talk about it all in that video. Please watch it there. Anyway, if you have come to the conclusion that your ex has no remorse for what they do, that they have no conscience, that they don't lose an ounce of sleep at night for what they put you through, stop telling them what they're putting you through. If you have come to those conclusions, the last thing you want to do is continue to tell them. And I get that for some people may feel like it's cathartic, like they're releasing their rage, like they're telling their ex, you're such a piece of crap, you're driving me crazy, I can't work, I can't function, everything that you're doing, not letting me see the kids, it hurts so much. Don't tell them. If you have come to the conclusion that they don't care, the last thing you want to do is continue to tell them because it can only be used against you. If they care and they feel guilty, they will change their actions. They'll try to talk to you. They'll try to come to an understanding. They'll feel bad about how you feel. And they will tell you that they feel bad. And they will try to work with you and try to ease your pain. They'll tell you things like, okay, I just want to get this addiction issue resolved and then you can see the kids, I promise. I know you hate me right now, but I just want to make sure that the kid, they'll talk to you. They'll try to sympathize with you. They may even empathize. If you are not getting those responses, you need to stop. And here's why. Your best case scenario is that your words just fall on deaf ears. You tell them all of the pain that you are suffering, that even your kids are suffering. You tell them this and it falls on deaf ears. That is your best case scenario. There is a much worse scenario. And this is something that I don't think that many people here are getting a clue about. Your worst case scenario, and this is with a personality disordered abuser, is that they get their rocks off on your suffering, is that they're getting off on it. It actually turns them on. It drives them. They're garnering narcissistic supply. They live for it. If that is the case, you're actually making them stronger. You're actually enabling them to hurt you more. They're getting emboldened. They're getting invigorated. They're feeling the power of hurting you. They're sadistic. This is what you're doing when you tell them how much they hurt you and how much you want them to stop and how much even the kids, if you tell them how much the children are suffering, they get their rocks off on that. They figure out that that's how they can hurt you, and they want to feel that rush. They want that surge of adrenaline. They want to win and crush you. And so you're telling them that it's working. So the last thing they're going to do is stop. They're going to get worse. So once you've realized that your best case scenario is that it all falls on deaf ears, and your worst case scenario is far worse, hopefully you stop telling them. These types of people, the best thing you can do is treat them with indifference, ambivalence, and when you communicate to them, you do it dispassionately. You treat them as insignificant, as everything that they're doing doesn't matter. I mean, it sucks. You wish it wouldn't happen, but it's all right. You'll get through it. They need to see that for a long time, because then they'll begin to doubt that what they're doing to you is working. And even if they don't really doubt it, they sure as heck aren't going to be as sure as they would be if you came crying to them every day about what they were doing to you. Then they know for sure it's working, and they're getting off on it, and they're going to do it more. you don't want to empower your abuser. So hopefully people hear this video and something clicks, and then from now on going forward, they do not tell their ex how much suffering they're going through. If you have figured, this is only for people, like I've said, if you have figured out that they have no remorse, no shame, they don't feel any guilt about what they're doing to you. If you have come to those conclusions, this is not a person that will put themselves in your shoes and try to figure out what you're going through. This is a person who will hopefully not give a crap what they're doing to you, or worse, and that's hopeful. Worst case, this is a person who they get off on it, and you are just basically, you're feeding the beast. You're not only are you not helping your case, you're making it worse. So stop. It sucks. If you need an outlet for your emotional pain, it's gonna have to be a friend, a family member, a psychologist. It's not gonna be your ex. They don't care, so stop telling them. The other thing, there was 2 other subparts to this video. When you're dealing with that kind of ex, in fact, you should really take this following bit of advice for any case, no matter what. You're going to want to hedge any court outcome. Do not go to them cocky or arrogant on any kind of filing that if there's a hearing coming up, if you filed a motion, try to communicate in either don't communicate at all about the litigation, or communicate in a way where you downplay what you're doing. I know I might not win on this. I really want to get our kids into this good school, but if the judge decides that you're right and they're going to go to your school, I just want you to know that I'm 100% going to follow that order. I'm not going to undermine you. Now, why would you do this? Because again, what I said previously is, when you tell your ex things like, I'm going to take you to court, I'm going to win, and you're going to look like a fool, and all of that, if you win, that's great, because you called it, and whatever, nothing bad can come of that. But if you lose, now you look like a moron. And now if they're a person who, if they're a personality disordered person, they're going to garner a whole lot more fuel on that than they would have garnered if you had approached them with the whole, I may not win this case, I want the kids to have a good school, but if I lose, I'm going to follow the court's order. Of course, they're still going to get some narcissistic supply. They're still going to get some pleasure out of winning. Who doesn't? Everyone gets pleasure out of winning in court. It's a big deal. But they're not going to get as much because you didn't eat your words. You didn't stick your foot in your mouth because you didn't say, I'm going to win and you're going to look like a moron and ha ha ha. You didn't say any of that stuff. So, I mean, you did lose, but you did so in a way that minimized the impact of whatever kind of emotional surge of elation that they get from that victory. When it's a person who's just an ordinary person and they're not an abusive person, or they're not a high conflict person, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that this person gets some kind of satisfaction out of their victory. You would get satisfaction out of your victory too. So obviously it's not a bad thing. That's what court, it's just a part of court. There's a winner, there's a loser, and it feels great to win. But when it comes to a personality disordered abuser or some kind of emotionally immature opponent, it does fuel them more when you tell them you're gonna win. So don't do it, just play it safe. And when you win, try to be as humble as possible going forward, because you can use that later on, and I did use that in my case. When I modified physical custody, I had 2 examples that were brought up in court where I had won 2 previous issues. One of them was contempt of court. I had her held in contempt of court. And how did I respond after I had her held in contempt of court? I responded with humility, and I said, I know you've just been held in contempt of court, but hopefully going forward we can work together on, how to parent with our kids or whatever. That came up in court later when I modified custody, and the judge read that email, and that made me look different. I didn't look like an asshole. I didn't look like just some jerk who wanted to just win at all costs and ruin their ex's life. And the judge did take that to heart when I ended up winning that motion to modify physical custody. So just keep that in mind. This is not chess. This is not checkers, it's chess. What you're doing now will have a ripple effect far, far into the future of your high conflict child custody case. So it may feel good now to throw it in their face and laugh at them if you win, but later on, you won't have that little bit of maturity that I had. And hopefully you're not just faking it. Hopefully when I'm talking to people about this, they take it to heart and it changes their actual perception of how they should treat their ex in court. Hopefully it's not just, oh, thanks for that, now I'm just going to fake being a good person. It's not what I'm intending by this. Anyway, that's if you actually win. There's still the whole issue of you getting cocky and arrogant, saying you're going to win, and then losing. There's still that problem. So overall, it's just best to just downplay the conflict. Just do it. With that, I think this video is pretty much covered. I'm going to go ahead and end it. If anyone has any examples of how they, told their ex about their suffering, and their ex turned around and used it against them, their ex got their jollies off that knowledge and got worse. If anyone has those examples, that's something that you can post in the comments below. People need to see that, because it takes a while for some people to understand that, and I'm not sure if some people out there are in a high conflict child custody case and they've gone through this process for years, and they've been telling their ex the whole time how much pain and suffering they're causing them, having no idea that their ex may be getting off on it, and it actually may be making them want to be worse. So anyway, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video and hope to see you guys next time.